Good evening, Kenton community. My name is Sabatino Samato. I'm your superintendent, and this is your weekly connection update. So let's get right to it. Today in the update, we're going to celebrate our first week opening, our kiddos coming back. We're going to talk about some things that we've learned from this week to improve on our procedures and protocols, and we're also going to have our recognition. So let's get going. First and foremost, let's really celebrate what yesterday was. Yesterday was the first time that we brought all of our students back to our schools together since March of 2020, folks, and it was a tremendous success. Not to mention, we welcomed for the first time our class of 2035, our universal pre-K class, and it's that new full-day program that we opened up our historic Hamilton building to accommodate. So there was a lot of success. Throughout the district, it was such a happy day. Our teachers, our administrators, our support staff, just ecstatic of seeing the kids coming back into the buildings, and I know families were ecstatic as well. Some things, though, besides the success that we had, I want us to focus on. For example, let's focus on a few things going into next week. The first thing, transportation. Transportation, folks, our transportation people have been working all summer to be ready for the first day of school. And in any typical year, we'll always have hiccups the first few days because we have to realize what really goes into transportation. Let me give you some examples. All of our buses run 3 runs in the morning minimally. And what that looks like is they'll work with the high school kids first, then they'll go on to the middle schools, then they'll go on to the elementary schools. So they're running from early in the morning. So any hiccup on any one of those runs has a domino effect. That's why we really have to focus on how we can improve it together. So for example, Kenmore East community. Your bus pickup in the morning is going to be 5 minutes earlier next week. And why I'm saying next week, you're getting this message on Thursday evening. There is no school tomorrow on Friday for students. Remember, we have a long weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday with the holiday weekend. The next time kiddos are all coming back is Tuesday, September 7th. And that Kenmore East community, you can expect that morning run will be 5 minutes earlier. That's to help with that domino effect. Another thing that we're doing in schools, we're getting the kids ready earlier. And folks, let's face it, there's a big difference between elementary kiddos getting ready to get on the bus versus secondary kiddos. Elementary, they have their bus number, and we have to go over it over and over and over again. But I don't want us to take for granted with our secondary kiddos how much we need to really hit with them, their bus number, their time and location for drop-off and pickup. Parents and families, that's how you could really help this weekend, making sure that all of our kids, and we make that part of our daily routine, going over that bus schedule. The same thing, of course, with elementary. And us working together, all of us working together, will help to make sure that that really is in place. Remind them that they're going to see more about the assignments for bus seating, that they have to get onto that bus with their masks on. That's non-negotiable. So the more we clean all of that up together, the more that it'll get better and better, and we'll be experts by the middle of next week. It happens every year. The more the learning is in the doing for the kiddos, and the more that they're doing it, the more they're going to learn it, and the better it will be implemented, and we'll continue to refine our process and procedure. Also, another process and procedure. We look to help during this pandemic any way that we can. One thing that we ask for families, it's actually a requirement this year, is that just like last year, we're completing the daily attestation, that health screening every morning. And folks, I need your help with this. There's a big difference between you completing it on, from the email versus having to get a text message reminder. I'm just being honest with you. It is more cost effective for our district if you're completing them from the email and you don't need that text message reminder. But even in the event that you need the text message reminder and you get it, please complete it, because that does take tons and tons of time for our school staff to really address the people and the students that have not, the families that have not completed it before students have come to school. So anything you can do to help us out, please make sure that attestation, and the biggest thing with that attestation, if you're checking off yes on any of those boxes, students should not come to school. Okay, we're doing that to help prevent, remember, the spread of COVID-19. Another thing that we have, of course, you know that we have those temperature scanners as another thing that we have in place, another factor that we have in place to help prevent the spread. Also, we know that there's a mask mandate right now. And folks, continuing to help us with students have been doing a tremendous job. Just a tremendous job. And just to focus what it means when we go outside, and this is for our faculty as well. Once we go outside, it is the student's choice. It is not a mandate right now outside. It is strongly encouraged by the Erie County Department of Health. So parents, if you want your students to keep those masks on when they're outside, that's perfectly acceptable. Talk to your kiddos this weekend. Keep on reinforcing it. Part of the routine. And faculty, my expectation, principal's expectation, when we go outside with any kids, you tell them it's their choice at that moment if they want to have their mask on or off. And we will, of course, keep as much distance as we can outside, but it is a choice. It is not a mandate outdoors right now. So keep that in mind. Kids will be presented with that option. And I also want us to realize, folks, we see what's going on in our community, and we're going to all continue to do our part together and all continue to be respectful of each other. I can't tell you how appreciative we are as a Kenton school district with just the work that our families have done to really do everything that they had to do. Folks, you see what your teachers and administrators and support staff are doing. They're working around the clock. They really are. Us working together, us having that will to make sure that we're confronting this together, but that wisdom to do it together. We truly appreciate everything that you're doing and everything we'll continue to do. We'll always continue to make the next best move together. And finally, where it brings us to today is another recognition. I talked about it, I spoke about it briefly in this update, but it is our UPK program at Hamilton. Ladies and gentlemen, I really want to take this week and recognize all the staff who played a role in transforming that Hamilton building and creating that new full-day universal pre-kindergarten program. It is an amazing accomplishment. The Hamilton building was primarily used for storage. Since the school closed in 2016, it was a tremendous undertaking because it was an empty storage building. And we relocated so many resources to that building to make sure that it was ready. And you could see the pictures that are showing that you're looking at right now. It was not an easy task. Okay, and for us to make sure that it was 100% ready for staff and students yesterday, and to do so in just a matter of weeks. Folks, remember, we just announced this in June. That work just started in June, and it was accomplished by our outstanding buildings and grounds department. You'll see all the recognition of those people on your screen right now, led by Nicole Morosco, our assistant superintendent, and our director of facilities, Tim Ames, and John Willie, our assistant director. All of our people from the technology department, you'll see all of their names there. They've worked around the clock. And also especially a special recognition to our Director of Elementary Education, Mr. Michael Muscarella. And let's not forget, most importantly also as well, is our UPK partner in the YMCA, just really making sure that everything was done. Mr. Frank Spagnolo from our student registration. We had a wonderful registration event right at Hamilton over the summer. When you get a chance, drive by because it's just going to bring us more promise. And that's where I leave you today. That's where we are in Kenton. I've always said coming out of this pandemic, and I know it's difficult coming out of it, we're hitting some challenges. But coming out of this pandemic, we have to come out of it stronger than we ever were before. What you can expect and hold me accountable for in Kenton, we're going to continue to think out of the box. I want us to continue to look at new innovative programming. I want us to look at, like Hamilton, and having that universal pre-K. We're going to continue to look at that programming. We're going to continue to refine our programming, and we're going to continue to strive to be the best around, because together we are Kenton strong, we are definitely Kenton proud, and we will move Kenton forward. I'm so proud of all of you. Have a wonderful, wonderful Labor Day weekend.